In the top stories, police in Nevis investigating armed robbery. American University of Antigua donates microscopes to UE5 islands, and 2 Canadians jailed in China return home. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, the 27th of September 2021. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the police in Nevis are investigating an armed robbery that occurred at a restaurant in the Cades Bay area on September 24. The police say sometime close to 11 p.m. on Friday, 2 masked assailants, one who with what appeared to be a firearm and the other with a machete, rushed through the main entrance of the restaurant and robbed the owners of a sum of money before fleeing the scene. No one was injured during the incident. Persons with information about this crime are urged to contact the Cotton Ground Police Station at 469-5269, the nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. The abattoir within the Ministry of Agriculture has received a new refrigerated van from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. The acquisition of the vehicle is part of efforts to enhance the work of the abattoir, specifically taking meat products to and from the abattoir. A handing over ceremony was held on the abattoir grounds on Monday morning. In presenting the key to the vehicle, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris noted that with the new truck, transport of meats will be improved, thus enhancing the overall efficiency of the abattoir.
This new truck that has been now added to your fleet of vehicles here would certainly help in you pursuing your mandate. Clearly, the refrigerated facility would allow for fresher meat, higher quality, and of course maintain a consistent quality here. So it is an important addition, and the government is prepared to work with you to do more.
Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, said the new vehicle falls under the government's stimulus package to boost the sector, and his ministry is committed to the further development of agriculture in the Federation.
And I want to, at this point, thank the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, who would have put together a stimulus package to enhance what we are doing in agriculture. This is a part of that package, and we want to bring this to the general public to show you that we are serious about agriculture and serious in our pursuit to ensure agriculture continue to grow here in the Federation.
The vehicle is valued at $180,000 EC dollars. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris will hold a press conference on Tuesday, September 28 at 3 p.m. in the conference room at the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, in Limekiln. At Tuesday's press conference, Prime Minister Harris will update citizens and residents on a number of matters of national importance. Other members of Cabinet are also expected to be in attendance. Prime Minister Harris's press conference will be carried live on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM and other participating radio stations, ZIZ TV, Channel 5, and the Facebook and YouTube pages of the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, SKNIS, and ZIZ. We now move to news on the regional scene. The American University of Antigua has donated 6 microscopes to the University of the West Indies' 5 Islands campus. Jamie J. Rocher reports.
UE5 Islands Principal Professor Denzel A. Williams and faculty members accept a microscope from AUA's Administration and Community Affairs Vice President Vernon Solomon. It's one of 6 microscopes the medical school is donating as the institution solidify a promising collaboration. Professor Williams says the lab equipment will aid in teaching courses at the campus's School of Health and Behavioral Sciences.
Part of our discussion as we move forward is to see how we can partner with AUA to look at how we build out a global nursing school located at the 5 Islands campus, but attracting students from anywhere in the globe using our academic technology, our academic standing, and your network. of partners that you have all over the globe.
He says the campus is working to put out internationally competitive health workers to fill the global demand. Solomon says the institution's visions are aligned, adding doctors can't do their jobs without nurses.
With the nursing program, we love to see that there's more interprofessional collaboration where our nurses are working along with our student nurses are working along with our student medical students, because that is how they're going to prepare themselves to grow and to succeed.
They're hoping the collaboration will increase the number of health workers Antigua and Barbuda produces. Jamie J. Roche, ABS News.
In Jamaica, Economic Program Oversight Committee or EPOC Chairman Keith Duncan says while he is in favor of vaccination, efforts should be ramped up in order to achieve herd immunity. More in this report.
While vaccine hesitancy exists among Jamaicans, EPOC Chairman Keith Duncan sought to highlight that measures were put in place to ramp up vaccinations and provide more education in the public domain. He notes he's looking forward to working with the government.
Accessibility, education to reduce the level of hesitancy is going to be extremely important going forward. And we're looking forward to the task force working along with the government of Jamaica, the Prime Minister who appointed this task force, to really ramp up the efforts. I think Jamaica is at less than 10% of our population that's fully vaccinated. I think we're tending up to maybe about 20% or more of partially vaccinated.
Duncan notes that as vaccines approach their expiration dates, efforts need to be heightened. He further explains that marginal vaccination uptake may not have a major impact on the economy.
Interest rates are at an all-time low in Jamaica at 0.5%. So if there's a marginal increase in interest rates, I don't necessarily think that it's going to have a huge negative impact on consumption. It could have marginal, but I don't expect it to have a huge impact. So what I would say is, the recovery in tourism and other sectors is driving the growth of the economy and the linkages. So therefore, I expect that that will continue as we get more vaccinated.
Javine McLean, CVM Live.
Internationally, after 1,020 days, almost 3 years in a jail cell in China, Canadians Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig are back on Canadian soil. Karen Sealin of City News with how they were welcomed home.
Welcome home. A reunion 1,020 days in the making. Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor are now home. The two Canadians embraced by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau after touching down in Spavor's hometown of Calgary. Kovrig then continued on to Toronto, where he was greeted by his loved ones on the tarmac of Pearson Airport, ending nearly 3 years of isolation in Chinese detention.
How are you feeling, Michael?
Fantastic, thank you very much.
The men boarded their flight to freedom at roughly the same time Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou left Canada to fly home to China. Her arrival, live streamed by state TV, was met with a cheering crowd of flag-waving supporters. I have finally returned to the warm embrace of the motherland, she said. Hours earlier, Meng reached a plea agreement with U.S. prosecutors, paving the way for the extradition case to be dropped and for the Michaels to be released. Their fate has been bound to Meng since her arrest in Vancouver in 2018 at Washington's request. They were detained days later in what has been widely viewed as an act of retaliation.
So much has been taken away from him for the last 1,000+ days, and we're excited to help Michael start the next chapter of his life.
Kovrig's friend and colleague says Kovrig showed incredible strength and perseverance while confined to a small jail cell in Beijing.
Michael showed us truly the best of himself, and I think the best we could have expected of anyone. He met this incredible experience with pure humility, humanity, and courage.
China has long denied accusations of hostage diplomacy, but a former senior government official who worked on China issues says the timeline is proof of an admission.
I think what they're doing is signaling to other countries that if they run into challenges with China, this might happen to their citizens as well. In the Chinese, there's an old idiom that says, kill the chicken to scare the monkeys. And in this case, Canada was the chicken.
The Michaels surprise release comes just over 100 days before the Beijing Olympics, and McQuaig Johnston says that may have also factored into this timing. Many observers believed it would be weeks, if not months, before they were deported back to Canada, but McQuaig Johnston says China is already facing mounting international pressure in the run-up to the 2022 Games. Karen Seolin, City News.
Germany's center-left Social Democrats, or SPD, are slightly in the lead ahead of outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives in national elections. Initial results showed the SPD is projected to get 26% of the vote and Merkel's CDU-CSU Conservatives 24.1%, the worst result by the CDU in 70 years. SPD leader Olaf Scholz said he now has a clear mandate to form the government for the first time since 2005. Al Jazeera's Step Vasson reports from Berlin, Germany.
A hero's welcome for a man who's hoping to become Germany's next leader. After a close-run race, Olaf Scholz is confident he's led the center-left Social Democrats to their first victory in parliament elections in more than 16 years.
Wir sind eine pragmatische Partei, die weiß, wie man regiert.
We're a pragmatic party that knows how to govern. We're a confident party that wants to work to ensure that we have a better future in Germany. But we've also shown that we have what it takes to govern a country. That is unity, supported by everyone, and that this was the case. I would like to thank you for that.
Dafür möchte ich mich auch bedanken.
Angela Merkel's last-minute efforts to attract support for the conservative Christian Democrat candidate Armin Laschet seem to have paid off. After a lackluster start to the campaign, the CDU and its Bavarian sister party ended up in a tight race with Scholz's Social Democrats. Laschet said he's not happy with the result, but still wants to lead coalition talks.
We will do everything possible to build a conservative-led government because Germany now needs a future coalition that modernizes our country.
And for the first time in history, that coalition will need three parties to govern. Angela Merkel leaves a fragmented political landscape, and while her former coalition partners, the Social Democrats, are optimistic they will be heading the next government, all options are on the table, and difficult coalition talks lie ahead. Talks not only closely watched in Germany, but also in the rest of Europe, where many have long looked to Angela Merkel for leadership.
So a very, very long to-do list for the next Chancellor, and the difficulty is that they're probably going to find themselves leading a very fractious, possibly quite incoherent coalition, which could make decision-making even more difficult.
This could well mean that Europe's largest economy might be a little less politically stable than it was in the past decades. Step Vasson, Al Jazeera, Berlin.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are fair with scattered showers in the vicinity. Winds are east-southeast at 4 to 10 miles per hour, becoming variable or calm at times. The temperature is 31 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves not exceeding 5 feet. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis says today there will be partly sunny skies in general with a 20% or a slight chance of a brief isolated shower. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with a 20% or a slight chance of a brief overnight shower. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.